So in just a little while, actually June the 9th, 2025, Apple will certainly announce a new iPad OS, the operating system for iPads. Less certainly, it may include features that are good. It may announce features that are not only good, but especially useful for you and me as writers, but it could just be another year in which only really the number of the release is updated. But what Apple will definitely not do is remove some of the features of the iPad that are tiny, but once you know them, excellent for us, such as dragging text. I love this one. Dragging text straight out of websites into a document. I mean, at least a couple of ways to very quickly move between different apps that you're using. And actually, I particularly like this one, how to work with two documents from the same app at the same time. Here is a set of these tiny but excellent little tips for writers on iPads. Hello, I'm William Gallagher and this is 58 Keys, which as ever is for writers like you and me who use and who write on Macs and iPhones, but particularly today iPads, except Monday videos. They're for all writers, and Friday's YouTube membership exclusive. It concentrates particularly on scripts and screenplays. Okay. Do subscribe or tap the like button thing, because we do have so much to talk about, and today every bit of it is about spending more time writing on the iPad, less time fiddling with the iPad, except when you want to. Okay, and everything works today. Well, it works on my iPad. That's nice. Works on all iPads, all current iPads, and actually everything today also works with just the iPad. You won't need external keyboards. You won't need the Apple Pencil. And let's start with this, actually, which I think might be my favorite of all the things we can do on all of these iPads. When you're on a website, right, well, you know that you can usually select some text, then tap in the middle of it, choose copy, and then go and paste it somewhere. Okay. And you know that sometimes the way a website is designed, it makes it really hard to select just the text you want. Or actually, even if sometimes you just accept that you're going to get more than you want, you'll have to delete bits later, you still can't get the bits you want and everything else. Yeah. And it is also, I mean, this is a bit of a stretch really, but it is possible to unselect everything, to deselect everything when you type in the middle. Yeah. Nothing can fix that bit about selecting just what you need, okay, but once you do have something selected, you can press and hold in the middle of that selection of text, wait just the smallest beat, and now drag your finger away, wiggle it about a bit. The text you've selected moves with you. And as long as you keep your finger pressed down, that selected text will stay with you. So there it is, all under your finger. With your other hand, you could open a different app and then drag the text over to it, let go, and it's as if you had copied and pasted. Now, you can do this with any text, but actually, since you're a writer, promise me you will also do this. You will immediately also do it with the address of the website that you've just copied something out of. Select that, drag that over to wherever you've saved the original block of text, because you know this, you know it is literally impossible to ever again find a source if you didn't make a note of it right now. Learnt the hard way. I do want to come back to that dragging text thing, because there's a bit more to say it, a bit more useful about where you drag it to, but partly because it uses exactly the same technique, and because I didn't know about it for the longest time, so perhaps you don't know yet, maybe, but also just because it's fun to look at. You can do exactly the same thing with images. So here I am in the Photos app, and I want to copy a whole series of images out to use them in some other app. Let's make something up, a document in Pages, whatever. Press and hold on one of them, then wiggle about a bit again, and once more, you'll see that what you've selected is moving with you under your finger. It was text before, it's an image now, otherwise no difference. But in this case, again, as long as you keep that finger pressed down on that image, you can also tap, tap, tap on other images, any number of other images, to have them fly to underneath your finger and like stay there grouped together. And then you drag this one pressing down finger over to another app, let go, and everything you had pinned under your finger is now copied or pasted into the new app, into the new document. In fact, actually, just thinking about that, I realise it's the same when you're moving apps on the iPad and on the iPhone. You can press and hold on one of them until it all jiggles, and then tap, tap, tap to add others, to then move the lot over to a new page in one go. All of which is fine, all of which actually I think is excellent. But you can end up having to really contort your fingers to do this. I mean, whether it's for the text or for the images, you're holding down one finger, you have to kind of stab away with the other on maybe, I mean, this is an 11-inch iPad, but it's still quite a small thing and it needs polishing. Let's go, ignore that bit. Fast ways to move between apps without crippling your fingers. And actually, a way to possibly move between apps without moving between apps. When you're on the lock screen of your iPad, right, or when you're actually in an app, there is a wide horizontal bar at the foot of the screen. On the lock screen, all you can do is swipe up on that bar to unlock. And in fact, actually, that's how you unlock iPads anyway. So there's a strong chance you may not even have noticed that there was a bar there. But once you're in an app, okay, the bar is there and it does a couple of things that are handy. One is, well, you can again swipe up and you get the dock. So if you are moving to a new app and it's in the dock, you can swipe up, tap that app and away off you go. Or if you swipe over even further, if you basically swipe and keep on swiping, you open this screen, the app switcher. Again, one tap access to some apps and one tap and one or more swipes across to others. But then there's the other option, which I've only just found this out. I don't know how I missed it before, but I've become slightly addicted to it. Instead of swiping up on that button bar and then swiping to left or right, you just swipe left or right. You move, finger on the bar, swipe left and right, and you move straight to another app that you've been using. So now, moving copied text or images somewhere is a press and hold and thingy, and then a swipe to the side. And actually, when you've dropped it, you can swipe back to go to the original app to do more. I didn't really realise this was here, and instead, to move between apps when not copying like this, I've been doing, well, I think of it as the 5-finger swipe gesture. But as it turns out, 4 fingers works as well. Just, and you go, and then back. One more thing on this line though. I said that swiping up on the horizontal bar gives you the dock and that this is great if the other app is there. Well, what if the app you want isn't in the dock? You can make sure that it is. And you can make sure of it in 2 ways. One of them might be a bit obvious. You can add it to the dock. You can add it there permanently. And yet, why wouldn't you? If you're going to be using an app a lot, just drag the icon into the dock and you're done. However, what might sometimes be more useful for this copying between apps thing is you can add any app to the dock temporarily. Go to Settings, Home Screen and App Library, and then turn on this option here, Show Suggested and Recent Apps in the Dock. I should say it's like, I don't know, it's like a 50-50 chance it's already on, because I think it might be on by default. I know it wasn't a minute ago on my iPad, but I may well have switched it off. Because what it does is extend your dock, and I've just got this memory that my dock was pretty full already. It extends the dock so that as well as any apps you have chosen to put in the dock, but permanently in the dock, there's this little trio of apps at the far right. And I feel you have grasped the concept here already. Yes, they are 3 of the most recent 3 apps you have used recently. But what this means in this case is that all you have to do when you are copying between, say, Safari and Pages, is to have used Pages quite recently. And then when you swipe up for the dock, it's there at the end, even though you didn't add it permanently. Okay, so useful, quick, handy. I said you only needed an iPad, and any iPad, in fact, for what I wanted to show you. That is definitely true if you're using any of the current or even quite recent models. This is from 2021. But some older still models won't do this next part, just this next part, which is you can have 2 apps open side by side. So instead of the pressing and holding followed by a contorted thing or a swipe on the bottom or any of that, you can just press and hold, and then drag from one side of the screen to the other, drag from one app over to the other app. And there are, of course, 2 ways to do this. First, and possibly easiest, since you've kind of already done most of it, When you're in one app, you can swipe up on that horizontal bar to get the dock. And now, rather than tapping on an app to open it, you can press and hold on that app icon for a moment and then drag it, swipe up with it to the left or the right of the screen. In nearly every case, that new app you've been dragging snaps up, takes up half the screen, leaving the other half for the first app. Not all apps do this, but most will. And when you swipe up like this, well, actually, there's another problem. You can in fact get into slide over. I always do it by accident. This takes an iPad app and displays it like an iPhone one, so, all thin and kind of over to the side. And you can have that floating over your current app, or actually your current two apps. It's meant for very fast access to a third app, like a reference one or something. But if an app allows you to do this, you can actually do this side thing with anything, with Pages, Reference apps, Safari, whatever. You can do it with lots of anythings. It's possible to have multiple apps in slide over. You can open it up in slide over, open another one in slide over, and another one, and then use the horizontal bar at the bottom of that to move, rotating around between any of those. Like I say, I go into it by accident, and I'm not really keen on slide over because I just forget that the apps are there, but you can do it. So in fact, you can have two apps side by side, each taking up half the screen, and you can have a third, fourth, or who knows how many, sliding in from the side when you want. And you do all of this. You can drag text to any of these, whichever way you have it. Slide over apps, split view like this. Once it's dragged, move it, go. One way, though, to make sure that you're going to go into this split view instead of slide over, one way to make sure you're going to take up half the screen with the new app you want to work on constantly is to use the three dots at the top of the current app, if there are three dots. There should be. There almost certainly will be. But again, there are apps that do not support this next feature, and so they do not show the three dots that let you start it. But the feature is this. In the first app, tap on the three dots and choose Split View. The app that you're currently in kind of shimmies off to the side. It's like it's hiding, practically hiding in the bezels of the iPad, while the iPad now prompts you to choose another app, any other app you like. Pick any app. In fact, pick it anywhere you like, from the dock, just on the screen. Just tap on the app, open the app as normal. Assuming that the app does support split view, you will immediately end up with both apps snapped back together side by side. Now, by default, they both take up each exactly half of the screen, but also there's a vertical bar in between the two. We've had horizontal, we've now got vertical. Press and hold on that vertical one, swipe left or right, and you alter how much space each app has. If you swipe all the way to the left or all the way to the right, well, then actually you go back to app screen, each app being full screen. If there's anything that gets missed, I think, on an iPad, it's probably this. You can do all of the above with split view, but do it with one app. So one single app, but two documents. Not all the time, not with every app, but with most. And you do it exactly the same way. So with the app open on your screen and a document in there, either swipe up to get the dock or tap on the three dots to shimmy the app out of the way. Two apps side by side, but they are the same app. Which means if you want to do all of this copying of text between documents, well, you just do it. You select the text, you press and hold, and then you drag it out of one document into the other. You drag it out of one app, a copy of the app into the other. Nicely, if I think sometimes confusingly for me, you can also have two documents open from the same iPad app, but have them both full screen, so you see one at a time. You lose the side-by-side thing, the ability to drag easily between them, but you get a full screen for the app and the document that you're writing in at the moment. To use this, you do the same thing of opening the app twice, fine, and then you swipe to make them each full screen. So you swipe the middle vertical bar all the way to the left, all the way right. Now, if you did happen to have an external keyboard, you could Command Tab away from the app. But if you don't, if you're working directly on the glass like I am here, you swipe up to get the dock again, and just swipe up enough that the app doesn't stay on screen. Because if you now tap on the app icon again, or you Command Tab on the keyboard, you'll go into the app and you'll see a little row of icons like this. One for each document you have open and a plus sign for making a new one. Tap on either, or whichever one it is, of the original documents that you want, and get back to writing in it. I mean, I've used that a lot in mail, drafts of things, but I've also been thrown by this. Thrown bit, I think I'm not really sure I've got into any of this, and also how to get out of it. But to get out of it, you tap the three dots, the ellipses at the top of the screen in any document, and then you choose close. That takes you back to one app, one document. Actually, the one app, the one document, that has the three dots. You can tap close on that as well if you wanted it. There's a lot of three dots there, a lot of closing, a lot of opening, but it's really good when you get used to it. But anyway, that's it for this 58 keys for writing on the iPad. Don't forget the Monday writing videos, and don't forget the Friday exclusive script ones. But more important than all of that, go play with your iPad briefly and then write on it. Okay, that is what we are here to do. Write more, but have a good time doing the shimmy. Thank you very much for watching. Take care of yourself. I'll see you soon.